Welcome to Com 200 Basic Communication Theory. So I am Kylie Becker. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to go ahead and talk about a couple of things that we're going to be doing in this class. As you can see this semester, really small one. So we have Bree, Camry, and Ian. So this is one of our comm majors course. So most of you in here will be, communication majors. Our textbook, I think Ian has my copy right now. So, excuse me. It's called A First Look at Communication Theory. And there's also a first look. If you just Google that, it should pop up right here, A First Look at Communication Theory. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that right in. The online website has a lot of the stuff the textbook does, but not everything. If you just want a super basic overview of some of the theories and some theory resources like self-help quizzes, chapter outlines, videos, there's a lot of that really good, helpful information in there. So let's say you're really interested in, probably not any of those because these are all just like the basic introductory chapters. Let's see expectancy violations theory. So it has this little chapter outline and you can read the highlights of expectancy violations theory. Let's see maybe if it has a self-help quiz. So there is a self-help quiz for chapter 7. So we can say, okay, we'll show the correct answer as default, and 15 questions we can go through and say, what theory did Burgoon and her colleagues develop as an extension and expansion of expectancy violations theory? I'm not sure. Hey, look, I got it right. But you can go through and do these to kind of just test and see where you are. I don't think I'm going to use any of these in any tests or anything, but it's just kind of a way to say, hey, are you picking up what is being put down? So what research method did they employ? I feel like you could probably use all of these, but you could probably also do an experiment. So conversation videos for expectancy violations. As you can see, it's a little bit of an older video, but it'll probably give you a good base for what you need to know. And primary sources, if you want other resources, if you're really interested in it, then it has all of those things that you can go in and look at. And that'll probably be something that's really helpful to you. So some of our goals, we want to know the 7 basic traditions. So like the semiotic tradition, socio-psychological, critical tradition. And then you'll be able to, in your first assignment, you are comparing and contrasting those. Know the basic concepts of different communication theories. So as a whole, this class sounds pretty basic, and it really is, because it's very you-directed. It's a DHA, so days and hours arranged, in this case, Wednesdays at 11, except for this first Wednesday because I'll be in Tucson. But I'm going to try to get more videos in for this one, though. I think we just have the first one. This video will be in there. We are in the process of doing our introductions. One thing I really would like you guys to do, though, is definitely check out the library resources. If you've never been to the library website, it's eac.edu/academics/library. Easiest way to get there. But when we're doing our research for this class, or if you want to look up other sources, easiest way is Easy Search or Catalog. And let's say I want to look up health communication because that's what I like. It's interesting. I'm going to go to scholarly and peer review. So like if I'm doing my article analysis, hey, this one actually sounds really interesting. Health communication, trolls and bots versus public health agencies' trusted voices. That sounds really cool. So maybe I want to read this for one of my article analyses. I'm going to cite it, going to APA, copy and paste that for my citation at the very top of my article analysis or whatever I'm researching it for. Or if I'm researching different methodologies and want to cite something, then I can just go to that, cite this item, APA, and then copy and paste that under the references, and then just do my in-text citation of last name, date, and then if a direct quote, page number as applicable. So some of the first things we're going to do besides the little library overview, you guys have a little 5-point quiz. So super quick, super easy, like 5 points, free game. We have this compare and contrast, which I think Ian's already done, but you're going to pick 3 of the 7 traditions and answer the following questions. So what do some of these traditions have in common? What are some of their differences? So maybe you pick the critical tradition and the rhetorical tradition. So do those have anything in common? And I believe it starts at page 132 in here. Yeah, so if we come to page 132 in this link right here, it has the 7 traditions. So there's only like 5 of those because the page gets cut off, unfortunately. But yeah, so it's missing the critical and rhetoric. Oh gosh, is it another socio one? I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head right now, but you can kind of look at some of the different ways that communication's theorized as, and for the 2 that are missing, it'll be explained in like here. So there's socio-psychological is where it cuts off. Oh yeah, sociocultural, duh. And then the critical tradition. So you just have to kind of pick out from those, if you decide to use those, like what they'd say in here. There'll probably be a way to find that, but I'm not sure where it is, unfortunately. I wish I could. So that is going to be our first one, due the September 18th. So Friday, not this Friday, not next Friday, but the Friday after. And then you have a methodologies compare and contrast. So find 2 types of research methodologies that interest you. So maybe you really like to do ethnographies if you're into that sociocultural stuff. Maybe you're a big fan of surveys because you like really hard quantitative data. And so find which one you think is the 2 that you think is most interesting, and then kind of compare and contrast them. So we're just kind of exploring at first of the different ways of doing things. So how are they similar? How are they different? And why is it interesting to you? And then qualitative versus quantitative strengths and weaknesses. So qualitative research is research, you can think of it as quality. So the quality is the names of things. Hi, Kitty. So qualitative research is a lot of like talking to people. You can think of an ethnography as a lot of qualitative research. And then quantitative research is more measurable, like physically measurable, with surveys and with data and saying, oh, this percentage of people believe in this. So what makes these different types of research better for some things or worse for some things? Like you could definitely do a quantitative ethnography. It would just be, it'd be interesting to see. It'd probably be a little more difficult than a qualitative ethnography in some ways. But they both definitely have their place. They both definitely have their time, but some people just prefer one to the other. Like I'm not very well versed in statistics and like data measuring in the strictest forms. So my strength at this point in time does not lie in quantitative methods. I like using qualitative methods where I get to go out and do interviews and talk to people and stuff like that and gather data that way. And yes, you still do use quantitative things like surveys, but the majority of your research tends to be more qualitative and describing rather than measuring, I guess is the way to put it. So just some brainstorm idea right there. And then we have our first theory exploration, sorry. And it just kind of goes on like that. So all of these things you will put into your portfolio. And you guys will all trade portfolios so that you can evaluate the other person. So everyone in the class will be reading your work, but it gives you a chance to really talk to everyone else and, you know, get feedback on things you could do better and things that you did well. So if we happen to add any other things besides these main required components, if there's something you guys are really interested in researching and want to put it in just of your own volition, have at it. If you have anything with my feedback on it from another class or even any of your other classes. So Camry, like if you're into hospitality, if you're doing any other hospitality courses, you know, you could even write up a little thing on like how this relates to your hospitality studies. And Ian, you and Bree too, I guess you could talk about how the things you're interested in with psychology tie in with this as well. And just anything that you think would add value into your portfolio, because this portfolios should be something that you have to say, okay, if anyone would ever ask, okay, well, where's a paper with some of my exceptional work? Go to your COM portfolio and you have all of these good papers to choose from, and they better be good. No, I have faith in you guys. But if there's any other work that you're proud of, you can put this in here so that, you know, I can read and be like, hey, you know, that's interesting or that's cool. But it also keeps it in one place for you to go back and find and say, okay, well, I know this paper that I wrote for, you know, my psychology class, I got put in there and add a little blurb about how it related. But I'm really proud of it, so I'm going to pull it out of there and send it off as my writing sample for entrance to, you know, university or whatever. So we have the instructor rubric, of which I will grade, and then you have a self-evaluation for this as well. And when you guys do the peer evaluation, I think it's with the instructor's rubric, and then of course you can always add other comments and stuff too on and say, you know, I really liked how you organized it this way. And these portfolios, you know, if you want to bring a physical copy by that I can hand to the other students or whatever, totally fine with that. You can do a digital copy. If you have a website that you want to put it up on, you know, you do you have creative freedom. So yeah, but if you have any questions, I guess, you know, when you have questions and stuff, please totally feel free to shoot me an email, you know, ask any questions, send me a message here in Canvas. You can always go to the discussions. I think you guys can start discussions whenever you want. So that should be something there that if you ever have a question, you can just go into the discussion and ask, or you can just go to people and be like, okay, that's how you spell that person's name. Let me go shoot them a message. Or you can just go over here to inbox and new, select the course that you're in, basic comm theory, and say, okay, who do I want to send it to? Okay, I want to send it to, you know, Bree and ask her a question, So, okay, well, hopefully that answered at least the first couple questions that you guys may have had. And like I said, whenever they come up, shoot me an email, shoot me a message. If you don't have my cell number yet, I will get that to you. So in case you need something, that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. I just ask that you don't like spread it all out to everybody else that may ask for it. So I will see you next Wednesday on the 9th, so September 9th in fall of 2020. So cheers. Do, do, do.